I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe for your holidays, or maybe to live here permanently, or if you're wondering what are the differences between living in Europe and living in the US, then you are at the right channel, because in the channel I take a look at and react to videos about life and living in the US versus life and living in Europe, or the Netherlands specifically. And for today, we're gonna take a look at videos from a TikTok React, and it's called First Time You Realized America Really Messed You Up. And this is part 6. So I didn't see the other parts, but yeah, this is part 6, and they're all the same, in the same line of Americans talking about their life and things that they have in Europe versus the United States. And that's interesting for me to do and to react to and to see what they are talking about. And if I understand it. So, Americans living abroad, what is... Whoa, let's take a mouse. Yeah. Americans living abroad, what is one time you realized America really messed you up? That's the question that this lady asks their fellow TikTokers. Let's take a look at the video.
Made you realize that America really messed you up?
I got one. I moved to Italy about a month ago, and
Italy a month ago.
My roommate's from Spain, and we were talking about things to do outside since the weather was getting nicer, like rent bikes, take walks, and she said we should have a shooting. And I said, a what? She said,
we should have a shooting. If you are American, we should, let's load the guns and in Italy, we should do a shooting. Yeah, okay. I'm even surprised. What does she mean? We should have a shooting.
A shooting? Like, let's go have a shooting. I was like, and she
panic.
was like, yeah, like, let's go get dressed up and take some cute pictures by, like, the canals or something.
Pictures shooting, some photographic picture shooting. Translated in English could have been, because she was Spanish. Translation in English. Let's take some pictures. Yeah, it's a photo shoot. Yeah, okay. But then let's do some photo shooting. And then instead of saying photo shooting, she mentioned let's do some shooting. Yeah, okay. I guess that as an American, you would freak out. You know, what?
Pictures.
In the US, I could not let my 11-year-old son go outside and play by himself. Someone would call the cops or something would legitimately happen to him, and so there was no way.
No, I know.
And when I moved to Germany, my husband, who's a German national, suggested that he go outside and play by himself because we would not have to worry.
Yeah, she's right. It's 11 years old. You can leave the kid outside if he has some backup, of course. But he can, if you teach him over here in the Netherlands and in Germany and other countries, 11-year-old kids go to school by themselves, walking. If it's the ground school, they walk, or they go with a bike. They go by themselves with a bike, or walking to the book club if they read at all, or they go to their the sporting they do, the soccer or any other sport they play. They can do it on themselves, or just meet up with friends and play outside. Go play outside. That's good for your social skills and learning to get friends. You get some fresh air and you get some color on your face, and yeah, that's possible over here in Europe, and it's not possible in the United States.
I'm not living abroad anymore, but I was from 2010 to 2011. I was living in Uppsala, Sweden, which is like about 45 minutes north of Stockholm. And this was before any major civil unrest was happening in the country or Trump or anything. This was like 10 years ago. I was out with friends and we started talking about how this Swedish girl happened to have cancer and how it's completely taken care of by their government. All of her health care, all of her bills are paid for.
Yeah. Okay. I guess where this is going to. Healthcare.
The odds are that she will definitely get over cancer. So I go up to my two friends, one from Australia, one from Canada, and I say, oh my God, you guys, did you hear? She has cancer and the government's completely taking care of all of her bills. Isn't that amazing? Like, oh my God. And then my friends replied, Sabrin, you realize that you are the weird ones. Americans are the only ones that don't have that program.
Yeah. It's amazing. No, it's normal over here in Netherlands and Netherlands in Europe, and now I hear from Australia and Canada too. So it's all around the world the most normal thing to do, except in the United States.
That was the first of many moments where I was embarrassed to be an American. It's not
embarrassed. Yeah, because she didn't know or because she thought it was not normal. Yeah.
But when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like. So I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't
Oh, again.
know if I can afford it. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital. And I argued with him. And he was like, no, just trust me. Just go to the hospital. So I went and I was like clutching my like student ID in my hand, my passport. And I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out. And I was like, I'm sorry, do you know how much it's going to be? And he said, I don't know, maybe 8 pounds. I was like, I'm sorry, 8? He was like, yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that. The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody. And I kept asking and asking if I owed anybody any money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know where that come from. It's not only for free healthcare like we had in the last one with the cancer take care of, or the cancer treatment taken care of by the government, but also you can go to a doctor. And you can go there if you don't feel good. You don't need to go to the doctor if you're half dead already, but you can go to the doctor and they will check you up and you will learn what's wrong and get you some medicine if needed or referral to other specialists if needed, and it won't cost you a dime, at least not as much as half your lag as in the United States. Yeah, and if you're working, you call in sick, you have unlimited, free, paid, not free, but paid sick days. And I say unlimited until over here in the Netherlands, it's 2 years. But the first 2 years, you've got paid sick leave. So, yeah, only in the United States you don't have. That's the only country that does not have some backup for these kind of stuff. It's all about the money. What has this young lady
So I don't live in Europe, but I was visiting relatives in the UK a couple of years ago, and my inhaler got destroyed. They convinced me to talk to the pharmacist first before seeing a doctor, in case I didn't need to. And the pharmacist said, yes, of course, we can refill this for you. No problem. It's a life-saving medication. And I'm like, great. And the pharmacist says, I did want to warn you, though. I'm very sorry. The price has gone up. And I'm just thinking the worst. And he says, yes, I'm very sorry. It's going to be £8.80. I said, £8.80. And he said, yeah, it's going to be £8.80. I'm really sorry. The prices just keep going up. And that is when I realized that the U.S. health insurance system is well and truly because that £8.80 prescription in the UK with really good health insurance costs me $50 per inhaler in the United States for a medication I need to literally live.
Oh, damn. Oh, 8 pounds. Okay, 8 pounds in euros. That's something like 16, 17 euros. So give or take two times. So two times 20. But $50.
So yeah.
Buckle up, kids. This one's gonna hurt.
Okay, let's buckle up.
So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian. Going through all of his old paperwork today, and he showed me a bill from the hospital when he cut his
Again. So these are all about hospitals or healthcare, except the first one.
hand open pretty badly and had to get stitches. It cost €4, which is the equivalent of $4.50.
Oh, there she is again. Stitches. Sadly, she didn't tell how much it would cost in the United States to have a cut in your hand with several stitches. €4. There she is again.
I am back for round 2 on this one.
Okay.
So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian. We're watching a movie the other day where somebody is running away and they get shot. And I'm like, you know what? That's their fault. They didn't run in a zigzag. That's like the first thing they teach you, to run in a zigzag if somebody's pointing a gun at you.
I can imagine the reaction of a boyfriend. What?
He pauses the movie and he looks at me and he goes, "Who taught you that?" And I'm like, you know, like teachers, adults, parents, like they teach you when you're young to run in a zigzag if somebody is pointing a gun at you.
Okay. I do not know if this is true. The subscribers from the United States who will tell me if it's actually true, but I can't imagine how her boyfriend would react to you.
The sinking feeling I had when I realized that nobody ever had to teach him that when he was young, because that's not a problem here.
Yeah.
So
It's a different kind of shooting. Yeah. No fear of guns that is so in your DNA, brought up by your parents or other people. You should be afraid of guns. We don't. I'm not afraid of. I'm afraid of guns, but I'm not afraid of walking outside to be afraid if there's somebody around me with a gun aiming or not aiming at me. It's not. And I worked as a teacher in a school. There are no guards, armed guards. There is no metal detectors, etc. It isn't.
another thing that I think about a lot is I have German friends, Dutch friends, Polish friends, and they all went on class trips to concentration camps when they were like 8 years old.
Ooh. 8 years old and then go Germany. Yeah, in Germany there was a concentration camp, so that could be in their curriculum at the age of 8. Polish also, Germany Dachau, and Polish Krakow, and yeah.
Whereas in the US, I never learned anything about the Native Americans, like what really happened, until I took a Native American studies class in college. They are sitting there learning about, and they like use the word genocide. They tell them we committed genocide against the Jews here in Europe. And in the US, they're like, natives helped us move onto their land and they just kind of moved away so we could settle. And they don't teach us anything about the Dawes Act. They don't teach us anything about the Stolen Sisters. They don't teach us anything about how Columbus wiped out an entire island in the Caribbean.
Yeah, because he brought along a disease that the indigenous people could not resist. They had no resistance in their body, so they died because of a disease that one of the shipmates of Columbus brought along to the islands. Yeah,
And like, they don't teach us about the smallpox blankets and the cholera and everything at all.
Yeah. It's denying your history, or making it less horrible than it actually was. It's denying it, and if you don't accept that you have a bad history during your colony time, etc., you won't learn from your history, and then if you keep on denying, it's all going down. And we over here in Europe, we do not deny that we had the First World War as of Germany, and the Second World War as also from Germany. But there was genocide, etc. The Germans did that, and some Europeans that worked along with it. But we know, everybody knows, the entire world knows, except Americans.
So I'm from Chicago, and I moved to Denmark when I was like 14.
Denmark,
and I've been in
yeah.
public school ever since I moved here. And I remember this one time I was with my friends, and this was probably like the first 6 months of my first year at school here. And I was just like, we haven't had an intruder drill yet. Like, when are we going to have one of those? And they were just like, what is an intruder drill? What is that?
Oh, intruder drill. Oh, she's talking about a drill. Yeah, okay. An intruder drill? Safety first.
And I had to like explain, like, you know, it's like you're practicing in case someone comes in the school to come like shoot or something. And they're just like, we do not do that here. There is no threat of people coming to kill us. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to be like scared for my life at school in this country. Forgot about that.
The only drill that we do at schools are fire drills, but not fired at drills. No, we don't do this.
I was
Okay.
living abroad in the UK, and I had
UK.
a job interview. And of course, growing up in the US, you're conditioned to dress so professional, be prepared, have your resume, and all these things. So I was like that really much. And I remember walking into the interview, and they were like, "Oh, well, you look really snazzy." And I was like, okay, that first of all, never heard that before at an interview. Then the secondly, they didn't even ask me anything besides, "Hey, Kyle, would you like a cup of tea?" And I was like, okay. Never was asked that before ever in any other job interviews. We had a tea, and we literally like sat and talked about all sorts of stuff, personal life, their life, and we just had a laugh for like 45 minutes. And right afterwards, they're like, "You're perfect for the job. You fit great." And it was really crazy to me, and it was a really fun experience. I wish the US would just chill out sometimes a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't. This is very low grade, but of low grade, very easygoing. But a lot of interviews are easygoing. It's you want something to drink, yeah, you get something, and then let's talk about you. Who are you? And that's their way to find out who are we hiring, and that's what I did. Also, we want to know if I've got a new person adding to my team. I want to learn. I want to know who he or she is, what she does, what she likes, doesn't like. And yeah, the credentials are also there, but I have seen already the credentials, the resume I've seen already. So I just want to know and learn the person that I'm talking to. That's something that we do over here. And you don't do in the United States. That's a little bit strange. Yeah.
All right, so when I lived in France, I went to a cafe with my friend, and outside the cafe there were a whole bunch of baby strollers with human babies inside of the strollers. And I was super freaked out, and I asked my friend, why would anybody leave their babies outside unattended in their strollers? Aren't you afraid of something happening to them? And my friend looked at me and said, why would you assume that anything would happen to a baby? Who would be so horrible to do something to a baby?
Yeah. They're safe, but to be fair, it sounds strange to me too, as in why do you leave your baby outside? Not because something will happen to him or her, but just the fact to leave your kid outside in a stroller while you are inside having an eye on. But it's strange. They're safe. I understand that, but I wouldn't do it either. I would like bring it in or don't come. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
I live in
understand. Oh, there she is.
Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US. And I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers. And it was very tragic news. But that day, I also went to the movies. So I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw, and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. I kept eyeing him the whole time, and he had his jacket open and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon, and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride, and then he takes it out, and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride. That's what happens in Poland. Not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
Yeah, okay. A beer can or beer bottle or something, yeah, that happens. Depending on which country you are, it's not allowed to have some alcohol beverages in the open.
I duetted this TikTok about a year ago, and I still stand by the fact that, like, we're significantly dumber in the States. School's a lot.
Ooh, that's a statement you can take. We're significantly dumber in the United States. Why?
Different here, but they learn so much more about life and things around us than we ever did. But another thing that I've noticed is people are so dependent in the States, especially like parents, I think, are more dependent and like feel the need to be in their child's lives more. Here, I'm sure they're great parents. I mean, 90% of the kids are super good, but like fourth graders are getting on the tram in the morning. Their parents are kissing them bye, saying peace out, not the school bus, the tram. And you know what? At night, they get back on the tram and they figure out their way home. Like the parents are not as like involved in the kids' lives, and they're so independent. But even like at home in the States, even me, who's almost 20 years old, like I'm still dependent on my mom.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a great moment to... So, this sounds better. Yeah, being independent, learning independency, it's not that the parents don't care, but they know there's nothing wrong. Let them go. I trust my child, and they learn how to handle this because they are from early age on used to get out there and to learn how to take care of themselves against friends, against the neighborhood bully, or they learn from young age. So that's why a lot of parents do not involve, I would not say do not care, but do not involve in every inch that their boy, their son or their daughter does. So let's go to her.
Okay, so I moved to Sweden. And when I got here, I wasn't feeling too well, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor recommended that I get an EKG, an electrocardiogram.
An EKG, okay.
Now, instead of worrying about my health, my first reaction was, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can get one of those because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it.
And the doctor reacted to, what? You can't.
This sweet little man, sweet, amazing doctor goes, did you not pay the like $20 when you got here? I ended up getting a a regular EKG, a 24-hour long EKG, a blood test, and a freaking checkup for $20.
Did you pay the $20? What? That's all?
Best part of this entire situation is that I am getting better and I am getting the medical attention I need without going broke.
Welcome to Europe. I believe this is the most significant part that you see in this video that a lot of Americans talk about is how broken the American healthcare system is and how it is over here in Europe. That's for less than for less price you can get here medicine free, rather cheap checkups and other hospital visits, doctor visits, all against a reasonable price. For in the Netherlands, a max of 380 euros a year. So that's your out of pocket is 380. And once you reach that 380 for non-emergency medical care, because there's only 380 for non-emergency medical care, then you're done. Then that's the max, 380, and then everything else in that year is paid by your insurance. A lot of Americans think, what? Only out of pocket of 380? Yeah, only out of pocket of 380. That's it. Well, it was nice to see some Americans freaking out about their life in Europe and what they have, how they are messed up by America. So I hope you liked the video. And if you did, then press like. And if you want to see more of my videos, then this is a good place to start with. And otherwise, it would be really appreciated if you help me to get to the 500 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.